How do you ensure that the grass is always greener on the other side? I was talking to somebody who had changed jobs. They were in a job that they didn't like and they were desperate to get out of this job, and they found themselves a new job and they moved into that. A couple of months down the line, they're having the same conversation with me and saying that they don't like their job and they actually want their old job back. And in my head, I'm thinking, well, hang on a minute. You didn't like this job. You quite often said that you didn't enjoy it and, you wanted to find something else. And this was what made me think of this phrase. I instantly, in my head, was like, grass isn't always greener on the other side. But then I thought, wait a minute, hang on. We can consciously create our own reality. And so why can't we make the grass always greener on the other side? I think that there is a way that the grass can be greener on the other side. And this is what this video is all about today. So the reason why, when we make a decision to do something, you might be in a similar situation yourself where you're in a job that you don't enjoy and you desperately want to move away from that. Now the problem with that is, well, not the problem, but the reason why the grass is not going to be necessarily greener on the other side when you're in that situation is because you're basing your point of attraction and your energy around wanting to get away from something, wanting to avoid something, rather than going for your desire. So you might actually think, well, hang on a minute, but that is my desire. My desire is to not be in this job, is to not be in this experience, to not be in this situation. So my desire is to move away from that. But it kind of doesn't work in that way. What we actually need to do in order to ensure that the grass is greener on the other side is we need to be focusing on the thing that we want. And the thing we want is not the avoidance of something. So if you're in a situation, for example, where you're in a job that you don't enjoy, rather than sitting in a place of, I don't want to be in this job anymore, I don't enjoy this, I don't like my colleagues or the projects that I'm on, whatever it is that you don't enjoy, instead of sitting in that place and focusing on those things, use that contrast, use the things that you don't like to inform you about what you do want. So you could sit down and write a list and say, okay, so I know all of these things that I don't like. These are the things I don't like about my job. So what do I want? What do I want to experience in my job? Well, I mean, you could do this with anything, any experience, anything in life. But let's just take the job as an example. So you can use it to inform you what is it that you do want, and make a list of all those things. And then when you have a list of what it is that you do want, the experiences, the relationships, kind of work that you want to do, then you need to place your focus on those things. And you don't want to place your focus on them in a way that you're comparing what it is that you do want with what it is that you currently have, because then you're just going to sit in this space of lack, this space of, well, I haven't got that. I'm not at that point yet. This is the problem why the grass doesn't become greener on the other side, and probably why that phrase came about, is because when you're trying to move away and avoid something, what you do is you take yourself with you. So you might get out of that experience, out of that situation, but you're still taking the same vibrational point of attraction with you. So that's why you might have found from your own experiences that you then move into another job and the same thing happens again. You still feel unfulfilled. You still struggle with your colleagues or the work, the tasks that you've been set, or you don't get on with your boss or whatever it might be. And you think, well, hang on a minute, I've moved into this new company, I've got this new role, and it probably is kind of like really good to begin with, but very quickly you will just slip back into the same thing that you did before. And it's because you're moving forward with the wrong focus. So what we want to do in order to ensure that the grass is always greener on the other side is we want to know that we're moving forward with action. We're taking inspired action because our focus is in the right place. So this is why often you hear people suggest to get grateful now, to get happy now. And the reason you want to do that is because then when you get that inspired action come to you, you move forward from that higher vibrational place. So can you see how there's a big difference between you move forward with action because you're in a lower vibration of I don't like this, I'm anxious, I'm frustrated, to I'm moving forward because I'm in this really joyous, happy space and I'm feeling pulled, I'm feeling inspired to go in this direction. And this is how you can ensure that when you do make that step forward, when you do change, because obviously there's nothing wrong in changing jobs and there's nothing wrong in recognizing that this isn't the job for you. But in the example that I gave at the start of this video, this person that I was speaking to, they started to realize once they got into this new job, it started to make them reflect upon all the things that they did actually used to enjoy about their old job. And so this is the other thing that can happen when we get into a place of gratitude and when we get happy and we focus on the things that make us happy now. It can sometimes reveal to us that moving away from something isn't always the answer. It's not always the thing that we actually desire. It's just that we have our focus in the wrong place. So if you're unhappy at work, it might be that you genuinely are feeling called to do something different or to be in a different environment with different people. But it may just be that you're focusing on all the wrong things in that environment. And if you just change your focus and focus on, even if it's just a few small little things that you do enjoy, and you start to build that momentum of what it is that you enjoy, you might actually start to realize this is the place for me. This is right. I'm in the right spot where I am. I don't need to move. I just need to change my focus. Have you ever had those situations where you kind of feel like you've gone in this like big circle? Like me and my husband did this with houses. For a long time, we got these kind of crazy like limiting beliefs and like weird ideas into our head around that we didn't need to own a house and it was better to rent, and there was lots of this kind of thing, whereas we both knew deep down that we wanted to own our own home. And so, I mean, you should have seen our journey. We went around the houses to get back to this place of, yeah, we knew this all along, we knew this was what we wanted, but we were just focusing on all the wrong things about it. And so this is a really good way to not make that journey to what it is that you desire a really long one. It's a way to just shorten that journey, to shorten getting to those greener pastures, is by getting the energy right, getting the alignment and the focus right, and then moving forward from that place. Because when we move from a place of lack, of anxiety, of fear, of frustration, we're not really getting ourselves anywhere, and this is why if we can take the time to not feel so called to have to act all of the time. Action is great, but we want it to be inspired action. And it is so important to just take that bit of time for the mental side of it, for the energetic side of it. And this is why we can use the contrast of whatever it is we're experiencing in our life right now to inform us of what it is that we do want and we do desire. Couple that with getting into gratitude, getting into really focusing down on what it is that lights us up now, what makes us happy now, even if it's the small things, even if it's just one thing that you can find. Because once you can get happy in your now, you also then get the confidence that when you get the inspired action, so like in a job, if you're unhappy in your job, if you can get into this place where you're not unhappy in it, where you're kind of satisfied, where you can recognize the positives of it, you can recognize the benefits, you then feel so much more confident when you do get that kind of inner feeling that things are good, things are okay, I'm happy with where I am, but I'm feeling called to this. And it's so powerful because then you confidently move forward into that new place that you need to, that you want to be in, because you know that you're not moving from a place of fear and anxiety. You know you're moving in a place that's coming from deeper within, that inner calling is happening and you're tapping into that intuition, and that's why you're being called to move. You're not being called because of avoidance and fear and doubt and all of those kinds of things. So if you want to ensure that you always experience that the grass is greener on the other side, then make sure you're making your decisions, your action is being informed from a place of gratitude, from happy now, and from a focus on what it is that you desire rather than what it is that you don't want. And then you will always have a greener pasture to move to. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate all of your support and your comments and your likes. It fuels me so much to know that these videos are supporting you and giving you new perspectives, making you think outside the box, and helping you to consciously create the reality that you desire. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell, because I release videos every Sunday and any other time that I'm called to and feel inspired. And I would love to have you as part of this community that I'm building. So as for now, I will wish you a fantastic day, whatever it is you are doing, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.